very important when you really decide to buy a real estate for investment or for home, you should consult experts on that. You should yourself turn into an expert because, of course, you can manage it as an investment. You can buy an apartment and you can uh, rent it out to fixed tenants. Example that I know from my own home in Austria, where my mom has an apartment, she can make, yeah, usually it's about 8,000 euro a year that she has with a fixed tenant, and then taking off the taxes, it's maybe 6,000 euro that she has an income on that. But first, you have to afford this upfront cost. Plus,
Exactly.
if you're the homeowner, anything breaks, let's say the windows, the elevator, you have to pay for that. So it's not just the upfront cost, it's also the maintenance cost that you have to consider.
And the opportunity cost, because most of the people, when they buy their first apartment, you have a huge descapitalization. I don't know if this word exists, descapitalización. So you don't have margin to use all the money to do other investments. And again, we say that real estate, we are not saying that they are not investments. Of course, there is investments in real estate, but it's not the only option that we have. We have like other options that we can start, like even though you have just 5,000 euros safe.
Yeah.
And which
And of
bank gives
course,
you also an hypotheca nowadays? Also, that will be another topic.
yeah, and you can, of course, say, okay, I want to rent it out to holiday rental. I want to make an Airbnb out of it. A lot of people thought about that and did that in Barcelona. People from Germany or Netherlands coming here, buying an apartment and then maybe renting it out. Also, that can change. The government can say we are not allowing any holiday rentals or Airbnb anymore. So if that happens, your business plan changes dramatically. So take that in consideration. If you think about what should I do with my money? I have no clue. Let's buy an apartment or a house. Contact experts, turn yourself into an expert, and just then take a decision. But because this workshop today is called How to Invest Safely and Secure, we want to show you some other options and also tell you how how some tips and tricks, how you can think and calculate this through for yourself. Because what is there more accessible for you? Because an home ownership is also a so-called illiquid asset. You cannot immediately sell it, or you can, find immediately a buyer and the next day it's done. It also takes some time, has extra cost. So what is out there? If you think about it, it's like, okay, George, Gladys, you told me the problem. We have to do something with our money. Buying a house is not. What can we do? Well, let me show you, or let me give you an example. Gladys herself, she worked for Apple here in Barcelona. And luckily, she had a nice colleague who gave an advice. It's like, you work hard every week, but put some of this money aside, invest it, buy a share of Apple. So what does that mean? If you buy a share of Apple, of a company, it means you turn into a shareholder. So part of the company belongs to you. Companies do that, they give away parts of the shares so they get more money, and with that they invest it to make new products, a new Apple, a new iPhone, then the next generation of their product that you want to do. And of course they hire people, they invest in new innovations. And Gladys did that. She took 3,000 euro, put it there, and then she did something very magical. She forgot about it. She didn't really think about it. And 10 years later, she opened her brokerage account, and the 3,000 euro turned into 50,000, 53,000, I think it was. So the 3,000 just turned into a lot of more money. And she took one action. She took a decision, bought it, and then actually she waited. So actually three things. But that was the very simple approach she took. And that's basically, if you talk about the concept of a stock, you can also, once you buy a stock, you actually can study more about the company. You can go to the shareholder meeting, you can do votes when they take decisions. Of course, if you have free stocks of a big company, that's not enough. You have to buy millions of it, like big banks do it. But it's really the concept of owning something that actually makes money while you just continue with your life. Imagine all those people working for Apple, building new products, launching the next iPhone. and then bringing out something new. While you work, they also work. And then when the stock price goes up, the company gets more valuable. Also, your investment rises. But then you say, okay, thank you. That's a nice advice, but Gladys took the right time. She worked for Apple and she knew the company because she had the insights. But maybe you feel unsure about that. Like, am I sure? Should I really put money now in Apple? They are not even able to build a good AI solution. So should I really do this now? Don't stress out. There are other options for that. Let me tell you something, a next term. It's called a fund, un fondo in Spanish. Um, Imagine it like a bouquet of flowers. It takes a bit of Apple, a bit of Coca-Cola, some Microsoft, some Tesla, whatever other company. It's basically products you find out there in your brokerage app. And what they do is, let's say you take those 3,000 euro that Gladys also invested, and it spreads it between those investments. Usually it's based on the size of the company. So the bigger companies get a bit more, but it basically spreads it. So you don't need to choose one winning horse. You can just say, I want to bet on one industry. We have one example here, the S&P 500, Standard & Poor's. That's a company that basically created this index, Standard & Poor's 500, the 500 biggest companies of the United States. So this fund, tracks that. So if you invest in there and looking at it historically over the past centuries, there's an average return of 7%. It's not linear. Sometimes it goes up. One year you have 20%,